Hi there, David Donahue from the Eyes of Horus. And today I'd like to talk to you about the idea of how do you help someone, such as a friend, who has anxiety when they find it so exhausting to explain what is really the unexplainable. You see, if you've never had anxiety, it's very hard to understand a person who has. And so I have a mission to assist people to overcome anxiety. And I want to get the message out there and help people to learn more about anxiety. So whether you're a person who has anxiety, whether you're a person who helps others with anxiety and overcoming it, or whether you're just a person who has a friend who has anxiety, then you're the person I want to help to learn more about anxiety. And so, did you know that around 20% of people are impacted by anxiety throughout their life? And do you know people with anxiety? And the idea is often you know something's not quite right, but they don't really talk much about it. And a big reason why they don't talk about it is because they've mentioned it probably to others, or they may not have, but they just can't explain it. You see, when I had claustrophobia and panic, I'd get in a lift, and if people got in, I got out. But to try and explain to someone why did I get out was, well, I felt panicked. And they said, yeah, but what's panic like? And it's all about the symptoms, the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the behavioural symptoms that we have. And so if you have a friend who has anxiety, then what you want to be able to do is to help them and support them to be able to get the help they need to be able to overcome their anxiety. Now, I was watching a YouTube video about a psychologist, and she had a son who had anxiety. And she said, I tried everything that I knew, but it just didn't work. It just wasn't getting what she wanted. And so she sort of raised the point of, well, we do know things and we are trained, but does it help? And what she got the realization was that working with anxiety is a little like playing a game of charades, where you have to act things out and you have to try and guess what's going on. An alternative, it's a little bit like trying to understand a barking dog and what's it barking about. We often don't have what they call a frame of reference of understanding it. And so what she was able to understand was that we need to keep working through and understand one thing is that there is fear. Secondly, there are symptoms, and we need to be able to go in and understand. So it's releasing the fear and then creating new behaviours, new mindsets, new ways of thinking to deal with the thoughts, to deal with the emotions. Now, for some people, they think the best way of dealing with a person who's got anxiety is to simply say to them, just get over it. Now, I know that if that was ever said to me, no, it didn't help me at all, because I didn't know how to get over it. If I knew how to get over it, I wouldn't have had it. And you get the other people who they have their story and they go on for hours about their anxiety, about how bad it is. Well, what they're doing is reinforcing it in themselves, and if you're not lucky, you'll get stuck into it and start to feel as bad as they do. So instead, what you want to do is you want to try and understand what your friend is saying about their anxiety and to encourage them to recognise, you know what, you understand that it's uncomfortable, you don't really understand anxiety, and there are people out there who can help you to overcome it. And so what you want to do is to encourage them to go find people who, if you go to them and say, can you overcome anxiety? They say yes. If they say no, you can only learn to cope, find someone who knows they can overcome it. So I want people to learn more about anxiety, whether you're the person who has it, whether you're a person who helps people, or whether you're just the person who has the friend. What I want you to recognise is as you learn more about anxiety, you're able to support the people around you. You're able to help the people to begin to overcome their anxiety. And so if you'd like to know more and like to sort of learn more about anxiety and how to overcome it, of course, then I have a closed Facebook group called Gain Mastery over Anxiety. If you're interested in joining this group, just type I'm in and I will give you the details so that you can then join and you can learn more about anxiety. And so this is David Donahue from the Eyes of Horus, and have a good day.